So, podcasting, let's talk.
Yeah, are we recording here?
We already are, yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
But
okay.
it's just the combo. It's
Dude, fantastic. 100%. No, yeah, I heard about this one podcast. I forgot the name of it, but the guy has like a real bartender, like a professional bartender that makes these like his own invention cocktails. And he does that while people talk about sports. So they'll have in like sports guests.
Yeah.
And he's bringing out drinks to them and they're trying
so
different
smart.
stuff. And it's fucking brilliant.
yeah. I can see why that works. Like, it's a good niche.
Oh, yeah.
Sports, drinks, goes well.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
And also it's just like
So that's how
sports
you, like,
watching almost.
Yeah, because they watch something together or they just discuss something together.
Yeah, they'll discuss and then they'll pull up videos and
Okay.
highlights and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
gotcha.
that.
So that's
and
how
they'll
you
have
learned
pro
about podcasting, kind of.
No, I found podcasting through YouTube. I saw clips of different podcasts, the little shorts kind of things.
like highlights.
And then I was like, oh, what is that? And looked, and I think the first one I found was Lex Friedman. And then after that, I found like Tim Ferriss and then Joe Rogan. And then went down the classics.
Yeah.
My podcast,
Oh, man, I listen to Huberman a lot. Like Huberman Lab.
Okay.
I love him. Also, Joe Rogan, of course.
Sure.
That too is my main thing.
Yeah,
Like, I
he's
think
just got the best guests.
Yeah, bro. Also, he does 3 episodes per week. 3-hour episodes. Almost 3.
That's so much.
So crazy. That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
What are the constraints there? Say it's 3-hour episodes. What goes into each of those episodes?
I think he does research a lot because like he asks really good questions to the guests. And also he's just a really, like his personality is really open and interested in other people, I think. And he just also, he's a comedian, so he's very entertaining. He just talks shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it makes it flow, so.
Yeah, you can tell that it's like a learned skill. Like I went back and looked at his first podcast and then watched like 1 through 10.
Yeah.
And they're so much worse. He got so much better at that.
Of course, bro. Like, I think some people, when they think about content creation, they're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to make a video and I'm going to be famous. But it's really not. You just have to grind it, learn it, and then, yeah, it takes decades to correct. And
I'm hoping this podcast is just absolute shit, right?
yeah.
And then one day, I can look back and be like, wow.
Yeah. Listen, the first one, you just hit record and then talk, and then that's it. I
No,
mean,
100%.
It's really about committing. Like, I heard Tim Ferriss talk about it. He's giving a lot of value about, like, how to start your own podcast and stuff. And he says that your first 10 episode is going to be shit. But commit to making 10 so that you can see, okay, actually, like, how would the 11th look? Like, how good can you be? Like, how entertaining it can be and how it feels for you. Because if you do 10, you might say, okay, it was an interesting experience, but not for me. But if you just do, you might be really enjoying it, actually, when you get better at it. You just don't stick to it long enough to see yourself get better.
I feel that. I do feel that. Like you need a certain amount to get over. Like in economics, you have the fixed costs. So you have to like, pay those back before you start making money.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing of like you have a little barrier that you have to get over where you're, I don't know, maybe people are a little nervous or they don't understand.
exactly.
And then they see it and they can change.
The first 10 is like that, for sure.
That makes a lot of sense.
And there's so much like opportunity with this, bro. If somebody makes a podcast and takes it to like 1,000 true fans or like 10,000 downloads each month, like you can make easily like 3K out of it. And okay, you will not be rich, but I mean,
interesting. That's cool.
You can make a living from it, right?
Yeah.
And you just talk with people, get some like quality sponsors, or if it's not your thing, you don't do it, but maybe you sell your own stuff, whatever. You can really, if you generate an audience, you can basically be this one-person business. This is like from Danko. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know him.
He's like a writer guy. He started with writing, and now he's into YouTube as well. He's not really a podcaster guy, but he talks a lot about how you can like monetize your audience and why you should build it, and how he works like it's a couple hours a day and he makes 6-7 figures. So.
Wow. Where are you at with it? What do you have your own podcast? Do you have?
Yeah, we are just starting this actually, like with the campus radio. And to like right now, I have many areas, but with this podcasting thing, we are just focusing on building content for the radio. So for example, last week we had the first episode with Rodrigo. 2 of us, we just talked. He's the coordinator guy.
I saw some clips on your Instagram. Yeah.
We just talked about like the vision and what we are going to do. And this week I had some like 2 girls, women from Web3. They have this company that like empower women and import them to this Web3 thing. So like NFTs, digital fashion, that type of things. And now I have this with you. We're just talking about podcasting, whatever. You're a new showmaker, you want to have your own podcast. So it's just really just a conversation that we record. But we will upload this and then we'll see what happens.
That's so cool, man. And you just met up with Rodrigo, right? Did
Yeah,
you just meet him or did you know him for a while?
I met him, like, it's pretty crazy story. Like, I met him in August at a Web3 event, but I didn't know him before. And then we just started to talk, and it turned out that we live in the same street. And then, like, a month later, when the campus opened, I was here on this intro week. I don't know if you were also...
No, I wasn't here.
Gotcha. So I was just here, and then I saw the guy, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I know you," because we talked, we exchanged contacts, and we did yoga with my roommates and his roommates. So it's just like we became friends. But then I see him here, and I was like, "Okay, what do you do?" And then he turns out, like, he explains to me like the radio and what they are doing, and I'm like, "Okay, that's for me." So then I applied, and that's how I became like chief of communications.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a small word.
What do you mean by Web3? What falls under Web3? I've heard that term before, but I never dug into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. Well, most people think it's just like crypto and NFTs, but it's basically like decentralizing and communities and their own platforms. Like, for example, do you know what's his name? Louis C.K. He has his own platform.
Okay.
The comedian. You know him?
I know of him. I heard
I gotcha.
What was it? He got canceled for something?
Exactly. So now he sells his own shit through his own platform. That's a Web3 because it's a decentralized platform that is for like broadcasting. So he doesn't go through YouTube or Netflix or the big names. He makes his own shit. And that's also similar to what Web3 wants, like some communities, some businesses and entrepreneurs. And also, of course, it includes the metaverse and like it's a really broad.
Sure. So if he makes his own things, couldn't you just put that on a website?
Yeah, it is just a website.
It is just a website. So how is that Web3? Isn't that just web?
It's a Web 2 and Web 3 mix. It's like a concept that is not going... So I might not be explaining this like 100% clear.
It has to do with decentralization.
Yeah.
And it has to do with connecting people independent of a central authority of some kind.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's the dream of the internet, right?
Yeah, that's why it started, I think.
You and somebody on the other side of the world. Okay, so it's like just getting past the governments and the businesses that are going to commercialize your interactions. Like one of the classes I'm doing right now is talking about a new business model in the 21st century. Is the platform business model of Spotify will show up and they'll say, okay, we'll connect the producer and the artist and the listener, and then we'll take a cut of that.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way to do it without Spotify, that's better.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of like Web3 music companies, I would say, who are actually doing that. They are directly connecting the musicians with the fans. So you could, for example, like what Steve Aoki does, he has his own NFTs and he made more money with NFTs in these last 2 years, or I don't know how much, than he did with the 20 years of DJing. And he also does this. He's creating this Aokiverse, that's the name. And he's basically making this community for his fans so they can interact with each other and with him and stuff like that. And it's also in the metaverse, so you can log in and online meet each other, kind of, which is like basically a glorified Roblox kind of thing, like the sandbox. Do you know that one?
I've heard of it. I don't know it yet.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
That's cool.
I think it's going to be like more, it needs more development, but I think it will get to a very interesting space. What we want to do with the radio is hackathons. So what we are going to focus on is connecting the Polkadot ecosystem and the students. So we will provide an opportunity for students to come in and see a project, and they can be builders or coders, so project managers or programmers, and they will work on a problem that is sustainability, or it can be socio-economic or regarding the university or something like anything. And as they solve it, they showcase their skills. And through showcasing their skills, we will be able to connect them with certain Web3 companies who are looking for talented coders and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So you're an intermediary, like a bridge in between the university and the companies.
Yeah, like that.
That's cool. And then you could have your own projects that could develop from there. And once you get in touch with the people, this is something I've been thinking about lately, is once you get in touch with the right people and you form like strong ties with those people, then all of a sudden they come together in a way that like there are synergies that get formed.
Yeah, exactly. So
like maybe you have part of an idea and I have a part of an idea, then we can like co-create this bigger idea, and then maybe that's where we go, like all together.
Exactly.
But everybody nowadays doesn't have that mind. I think a lot of people don't have that mindset right now. True. I think a lot of people think I am going to do this. Like it's very ego driven.
Exactly. I think Keith Ferrazzi has a really good book on this. It's called Never Eat Alone. and he talks about how it's not competition, but it's collaboration.
Yeah.
And of course, like competition is also involved in the human, like our journey, but with collaboration, you can get so much further.
Dude, 100%.
If you collaborate with people, like-minded people, then you can make a lot of good stuff happen. Like, for example, I give you this example, and nothing is set in stone. I don't want to spoil it, but so I totally out of the blue, I met this guy. I came from Hungary. I was traveling to Amsterdam with a plane, and on the train from Schiphol to here, I was like, some guy sat in front of me with a camera. And I was like, okay, he looks like a content creator. So I just asked, hey, are you a content creator? And then we started to talk. Turns out he's doing this creative agency, and we bought the same course. So we are studying in the same group of people, and we are working on the same goals and stuff like that. So it was really like synchronicity. Do you know this word? It's from Carl Jung. And anyways, then we started to talk, and we met this other guy who is also from Amsterdam. He's like a coach guy. And now we have this community, basically, 4 of us. We are working on getting basically to 10K months and just like helping each other on the way, right? Sharing knowledge, just what we want to do with the campus radio. But anyways, so with this guy, I sat down and I helped him to work on his TikTok presence, and he helped me to work on my offer with this social media agency that we are doing. And through that, I was able to close a client at a 12.3 for 3 months, because together we worked on an offer that I couldn't wrap my head around. How would I put something together? But through working with this guy, I was able to, and then it benefited me, and it also, of course, benefits him, because he can use me as a testimonial for his agency, stuff like that. So it's like mutual collaboration, I think, is the way to go about everything. Anyways, tell me about your podcast. You want to start something, right?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
said you want to do something similar like Lex Friedman.
Yeah. Lex Friedman, he's just interviewing people that he's interested in. It's not about the money for him. He's going down paths of thought, and he interviews Magnus Carlsen. Then he'll go into Hikaru Nakamura, and then he'll go into the other chess streamers who are just not the best players, but they're good at streaming it. And then he'll go and he'll do this whole thing on chess. And it's while he's learning chess, because he's clearly interested in it.
Yeah.
And I watched that, and that's what's most entertaining to me. So I go, absolutely. I love the idea of having a podcast, because when I'm interested in something, it's like it gives a frame, it gives a space to be able to learn it, as opposed to just going online and looking things up. Because
you can actually invite people and then talk with experts about their field.
And that's how I learn best, is when I talk to somebody. Like if it just from conversations, that's where 90% of the things in my brain are from. No. It seems like you're really good at getting things from books and incorporating it. That's something I picked up on the first couple minutes of this, but that's not how I work. Like it might be somewhere in my brain, but I'm not gonna have it like right there. But if I talk something through with somebody,
both is good. But yeah, definitely talking with people and then getting a new perspective is also very beneficial, because some people are really stuck in their own ways of thinking. But then when you're exposed to somebody else's thought, then you can really rethink how you approach the world. Yeah,
for sure, 100%. And then I like the idea of it being free form. I like the idea of, instead of saying I'm going to do a podcast on, I like the idea of, if I'm interviewing engineers and then they're talking to me, oh, but then this new AI technology is helping us in this field. Then I can go, oh, what about that AI technology? Go here and interview those people. And then all of a sudden, you get a clearer view of the world, and you can see, like, maybe you could see the links in between the fields that they're too specialized in to be able to see. Like maybe Andrei Karpathy, who did ChatGPT, right? Maybe he is so focused on how can you make the next version of ChatGPT, the reinventing AI, that he's not thinking about the biological aspect. And then there's some biologist who comes in and he goes, oh yeah, but then there's this. And I'd like to be able to talk to all of those people and figure out where we're at, where we're going, where the money's going, like where's funding going? Because that's where the future's going to be. Nobody talks about that. How is that not a conversation?
Of like where the people fund?
What research is funded right now? I have no idea.
Yeah, actually, like me neither.
How do we not know that?
I know Andrew Huberman does a lot on this. He has his own fund, and he puts a lot of money in like exercise and human physiology research type of thing. I don't know. I think a lot of money is wasted on bullshit research and like big data, like big pharma research. Yeah. Who like the big companies who are saying that, oh, this pill is going to work. Here's $10 million. You go research it.
For sure.
But you have to prove that it works. So it's not like a real research. It's just a kind of like a biased
There is the bias, but there's also another thing in big pharma. My dad's a pharmaceutical sales rep for his whole life. Right? He sells cancer medication, like oncology, and so I've seen a couple different sides of it, and I think overall it's really good, because what happens is if you don't have that, there's no research, there's no new medicine. We've got like penicillin, and how many lives was that saved?
True. Yeah.
The bad side of it is that for patent laws, you have 7 years to renew your patent. Right? And all you need to show is that you have a new indication for the drug. You don't have to show that you have a new drug. So say you have the patent on penicillin and it's at year 6. All of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I'm making so much money off this right now that I don't want it to go out to the mass market because I'll lose my profit margin. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find, instead of finding a new drug that's going to save more people, I'm going to find a new indication. I'm going to find a new purpose for this drug. Oh, it was good for, I don't know, let's just make up your elbow. Oh, it was great for your elbow, but oh, now it's great for your wrist.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So there's 7 more years. So there's so much money that goes into that.
Yeah.
That's just waste.
Exactly,
That's just fact.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because instead of creating new things, they are just like stacking on top of the same old thing and repurposing it, repackaging it, but it's actually the same thing.
It's cheating.
Cheating, yeah. Fuck that. Also, one thing about like big, like decent companies that I don't really get is the antidepressant era. I don't know if you like know any about that. I just have a couple of research in mind that, for example, they looked at, there were 3 groups, right? One group, they didn't do anything. They just took an antidepressant. Another group, they took the antidepressant, but also exercised 3 times, 45 minutes a week, like medium intensity. And there was a third group who just did the exercise. They didn't take anything. And actually, of course, the one who just took the pill, they didn't recover. It was, I think, depression or anxiety or something like that. And the groups of who did the exercise, they recovered. But the group who didn't take the pill actually stayed healthy for a longer period of time than the ones who were actually like on the pill.
Wow.
And that to me is crazy, because it's, for me, it's just treating the symptom. It's not actually helping people. And I understand sometimes you need to, like, in order to cope with life, somebody might be in such a bad state that they need these drugs, and then it's like really helpful. But I don't think all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that like 25% of people take some form of antidepressant, like the adults.
Wait, 25%?
Yeah, in the US. It's fucked up, man. It's from Myth of Normal. It's a great book. I recommend it, yeah. He's a great psychologist also. He's
I listened to him on Joe Rogan, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good episode.
Yeah,
sure.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, 25%.
Something like that.
That's
Don't quote me on that.
crazy.
I'm just paraphrasing.
Yeah, but imagine if that's the number. That's a
That's
crazy
a lot,
number.
Yeah. 1 in 4.
Whoa.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's complicated, and I don't know anything about the brain.
Yeah, you're not qualified to talk about this.
Right, and also I'm not depressed. I don't know what that feels like.
Gotcha.
So maybe somebody who is depressed and then takes some, I don't know, what's the name of any
Ritalin,
antidepressant? Yeah.
Xanax.
Yeah, okay. Takes
And they feel
Xanax or
better.
Ritalin or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that does help. Like maybe for a specific person in their specific brain, it could be useful.
For some people, for sure.
I don't know. I know that I took the first ever ice bath that I took today.
Nice one.
Oh
Today.
my God.
Damn.
Yeah. I was all motivated. I was like, all right, I'm doing this.
Yeah, good stuff.
And
How was it?
it was so cold at first.
Yeah.
And then after that, my breathing just went automatic in a way that it doesn't do typically.
Okay.
And I don't know. It was like super easy for the next 3 minutes. Like as soon as I got in, it was like very hard for the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then my body just took over and it was fine.
It's crazy.
And for the rest of the day, I felt great.
Nice.
I went and played basketball. I suck at shooting. I was nailing every shot. There's like confidence thing. Yeah, but I think that there's things that you can do that are natural like that.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everybody knows what they are. They just don't have the motivation to go do them.
Exactly, bro.
And I think the trick is that nobody has the motivation, but some people just do it.
Yeah.
So if you can just do it, it's like committing to the 10 podcasts. It's
exactly.
like you
Even
just
without
do
the
it.
motivation and stuff. Yeah.
And then after that, then you'll have the momentum.
And then it's just a habit.
Yeah.
It's just like second nature. Yeah, bro, I've been taking cold showers for the last 3 years. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. Like the cold is just like Wim Hof. Shout out to Wim Hof. He's just
Hey, Wim. Hope you're watching.
amazing. Like that guy gave so much, I think, to like humanity by showing that the human physiology is capable of lots more things
Yeah.
than what we thought. Because before thought And he was extensively researched, like his body and the method and what the method does to the physiology of people and how it affects depression and arthritis and all kinds of things. He was actually researched by Huberman.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And what I wanted to say with this.
That dude's crazy in all the right ways.
Exactly. All the right ways.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like I can thank a lot of things for the method. And if you just do it in the morning, after that, you just feel like on fire. Like you're just not bothered by small things.
I saw some of the world records he has, like the one where he hung from one finger for like in the cold. Bro, that's crazy.
How?
He climbed Everest.
Yeah.
In his shorts.
Exactly. What? Like 7,000 meters. How?
What are you talking about, man? I heard this story.
Crazy.
I was at the climbing gym, right? And there was this guy, French guy, who was there, and I heard him speaking French, and so I was like, oh, yo, tu parles français? Okay, cool. And we started a little conversation, and it went to climbing, and I was like, you ever climb outside? He said, actually, I climbed Everest. And I was like,
okay.
Right nice. On. So he was with the group, and you have the little small pods, and then you have the big group, like at each, like there's the bases.
Yeah.
And that's the big group. And then these little small, like 12-man or 8-man, I don't really know exactly how it works.
We're like basically going between the camps, yeah.
And so somebody that wasn't in his little pod, but was in the base, was going down the mountain, and it was a couple. And the girlfriend goes outside, and she's putting her jacket on, and the wind grabs the jacket and rips it away off the mountain. It's gone.
Yeah.
The boyfriend gives her his jacket and then goes down the mountain to try to get to the warmth.
Yeah.
And freezes to death on the way.
Fuck. That's crazy,
That's
bro.
Fucking wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
That's insane.
Yeah. But what did that happen in the base?
That happened to somebody that was in between the bases. Yeah. And it was in the guy had talked to that couple like briefly. And then he gets to the bottom and he finds out that the guy he was just talking to had frozen to death.
Yeah.
And then you see Wim Hof just like throwing up in his underwear and drinking a little beer. He's all the love, all the power. He's on another level. What is it? Is it like, is that in his genes? I think that it was something my girlfriend was right on. She said that it takes somebody as crazy as him to be able to find something like that. Yeah. Like you have to go to that place in order to have those breakthroughs.
But do you know his story? Like when he was like really depressed because his wife killed herself, and then he was like walking through a park, and then he felt like invited by the cold, this icy lake, and then he just went in for 5 minutes, and then he felt like super powerful and energized, and then he was like, okay, this is something, and then he just went every day, worked up, and then did all these feats basically and just reclaimed his power basically. I think that's amazing, really inspiring, that guy.
Wow, that's amazing. I would love to talk to him. That would be amazing.
For sure. Do you know Mike Posner?
Mike Posner, the singer?
The singer, yeah. They had a podcast with Wim, and because Mike actually climbed the Everest as well.
Really?
Yeah. He went all out. Like he walked through the US from East Coast to West Coast and then climbed the Everest. Crazy guy.
That's awesome.
Huge change. Yeah, awesome.
I took a pill in Ibiza, right?
He's that guy.
Okay, cool.
Lovely dude, by the way, really wholesome.
Wow.
And he is also, of course, doing the method and everything. And he was saying that it really helped him with climbing the Everest. So,
really?
Moral of the story is that if you want to climb the Everest, you better do the Wim Hof method.
Gotta do the Wim Hof method.
Gotta do it.
I think you just gotta try new stuff all the time.
For sure.
Like all the time.
Yeah, keep an open mind.
And then find a way to systemize. Is the second part. You gotta have a means. You have exploration and exploitation. You have to find a way to, this is part of my MBA course. It's hilarious. We did a whole class on this. Nice. Exploration is you gotta find new things, right? So if it's a company, it's R&D, it's meeting other companies, it's these like inner board alliances and whatnot. And then exploitation is finding a way to capitalize on it. And then for that, you need a system. So for the exploration part, you need everything to be free form, like a startup, right? You need everything. Everybody's doing everything. The idea is changing. You thought you were doing this. You ran into a roadblock there, found out that was better. So you pivot and you go that way. And then once you find, oh, this is the honey hole. All right. Then you need a pyramid.
Yeah. Then you systemize and everything is on point.
And so you need both. You need to have, you need to be going to the party at night, but you also need to be waking up at 8 in the morning. I don't do it all the time, but like, I know that's what's better. Like, I know that's the way. Like, I know that you need to find a way to have structure, because then within that structure, you can find all these new activities.
For sure.
And if once you do that, there's like this exponential thing that happens. And I think that's what sets these people like the Wim Hof, the Mike Posner, the whoever it is, the Andrew Huberman, apart from the other people, is that all of them have a practice of systemizing.
Yeah. Like getting that podcast out every Monday.
Perfect example is Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is the perfect example. Did you read a 4-Hour Work Week?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So 4-Hour Work Week, he's saying, how can we, what is it? Deal. It's, you got to differentiate. No, I'm going to mess it up. Anyway, no, you have to identify all the things that are in your life. Use the 80-20 rule on that.
Yeah.
Eliminate all the other ones. Then you automate the 20%, and then you free yourself from that process.
For sure.
And then you do it again.
Exactly. And then you just reclaim your time, basically, through that process. And then you can cultivate the time towards the things that are actually conducive for your growth and for your like actual aspirations. Because let's be real,
100%.
You might not want to spend 8 hours a day on your job. If you can find a way somehow to make that 8 to a 6, 2 hours to read a book, do some meditation, do some whatever, exercise, talk with your friends, whatever you want to do.
100%.
And I think like we need to think about how we can put these systems in place in order to be as free and as like flexible with our time as possible. But then when we are flexible with our time, we need to make sure that we don't fuck around, but we actually use the time to...
Or fuck around a little bit.
Yeah, do that to both sides, right? You don't want to be like a very rigid... Although for some people that works, right? Like now I have this non-negotiable that I do 1 hour of yoga every morning in the cold shower and 30 minutes of reading.
Cool.
Like, that's non-negotiable. So I'm very rigid with that.
Right.
And I don't fuck my sleep up either, because I know that if I fuck my sleep up, then I will not be able to do all those things. So it's find something that works for you, right? And then do it. But in order to find what works for you, you actually need to start doing the things that interests you. For example, if somebody hears about cold shower, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm just afraid of the cold and will never do it, then he doesn't know that, oh yeah, actually when I take a cold shower, it increases my focus and then I can do whatever I do better. Because he's just, oh yeah, it's not for me, I'm afraid of the cold.
And that's where Huberman comes in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And tells you why cold is amazing.
And then you go, oh, I get it. And then you can do it.
Exactly. Also, I think you need to like stack your motivators. So, okay, I know it's good for me because it's good for my physiology. I know it's good for me because of this, because of that. I know it's also good for me because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And then you have all this big pack that is like better than, yeah, I should take a cold shower because some of my friends told me to. Of course, that's not really motivating. But if you have Andrew Huberman, Wim Hof, and everything stacked up, then it's okay, yeah, I'm taking a cold shower because I know it's good for me.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm with that. Okay.
So what are some of your systems, if you talk about that?
Yeah. I write stuff down. That's been the biggest thing. Having a list and then just the satisfaction of putting a little check next to it or scratching it off or whatever.
So good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and then some people tell me like, oh, that's good, but it's not for me. I don't know if I believe that. Like, I think that if anybody did it for a week, they would just go, oh, everything got done. Before it didn't get done. Yeah. And now it does.
Interesting.
That's
something to think about. Yeah,
I
it
really
really is. Yeah. When you just look at your week and that, oh, you've been like really on point with your gym, with your study and everything.
Yeah.
It feels good. Feels better than if you look back and I watched like 10 episodes of this Netflix show and I did all that bullshit. Yeah. Also something like James Clear talks about this a lot, how you should visualize physically your progress. The example he used is that there was this sales guy who had 2 glasses when he sit down at his desk in the morning. And one desk had, I think, 100 these little buttons. And every time he made a call, he just put one button to the other one. Made a call, another one. Made a call, another one. And then he was progressing so well. He was like jumping all the hierarchies, etc., etc. But it just demonstrates that because of this like very easy thing that he was able to see, okay, how much I progress, how much I have left. It was easier for him. And he was like, okay, I do just 100 calls every day. That's it. Non-negotiable.
That makes sense. And then it's just like the satisfying, like, ooh, one more.
Yeah, exactly.
One more. Yeah. You've got all the references, dude. I love it.
Yeah,
you got it. With the name of the book is that. Recommend this one. Don't recommend that. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, James Clear is great.
Okay.
He's like that. If you didn't read the Atomic Habits, that's like the first book I recommend.
My girlfriend just gave me that book.
Bro, she's good.
I know.
She's lovely.
She's the best. Yeah. Shout out to NA. What's happening?
Shout out.
No.
So you want to start this month, right?
Yeah,
With your podcast.
Absolutely.
Do you have ideas of, because when I talk with creators, I usually tell them, and we will talk about this also in the academy, that just look for 3 to 5 topics that you are obsessed about, you are interested in, and just invite people from that expertise, that field.
Sure.
Do you have these for you?
So what's the purpose of that?
Because then you know what is it that you are going to talk about. And
Okay.
you are also like not shooting too wide, right? Because at first,
Sure.
you don't want to niche down too much, but you do want to have, at first especially, like a structure of it. So if you know that, okay, for example, what Andrew Huberman did is that the first month was the brain in general. And this the second month was just memory. And the third month was just exercise. The fourth month was just this, and then that, and then...
Okay.
Because he's studying neuroscience. That's a really wide topic. And
Right.
there's so many interests. And now he's talking with creatives and producers. And now he's like doing all kinds of things. But he started with this. And with that, there was a structure to it. So people were like, okay, now I know what is going to be.
So the assumption there is that it's to attract an audience that's specific to that subject matter.
Also that, but also I think that if you, for example, if you're interested in, let's say, this strategy and just business development, then if you invite just 4 to 10 like CEOs around Amsterdam or like big business guys, or even just your professors to talk, have a discussion, then through that you are really going deep into that topic. You are getting a lot of knowledge in just one area from a wide range of people. You can focus. And then, okay, now I know enough of this. Now I have this knowledge, I integrated it. Let's go to the next one.
I think that's good for that reason, for the focus reason. Me personally, oh, that's funny. Me personally, that's something from the south of the States. I make fun of people who say that, me personally, but I say it all the time.
Are you from the south?
Yeah, from New Orleans.
Nice,
yeah, I love
nice.
New Orleans.
I've
Be a
never
New
been,
Orleanian wherever you are, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, dude. Anyways, yeah, but I'm not in it for an audience. Like anybody who doesn't want to listen, please fuck off. Just leave me alone. I just want to have it for a structure of learning. And if this turns into $0 and zero audience, that's perfect.
Yeah. I'm also in it for the Feynman. The Feynman, what I do is the Feynman technique. Do you know this?
No.
Richard Feynman, he was a scientist guy, really famous actually. And he has this technique that is good for learning, which is if you want to learn something really well, you need to think about how you can explain it to somebody else. So for me, this podcast and also the long form content that I will make is about, okay, how can I get better at this topic that I'm really interested about? I just make a video and explain it to people.
Okay.
And then you hit 2 birds with 1 stone. So I just wanted to say this.
Interesting.
To say that it's a really good way for you to approach content creation, because I think that's how you actually get really far. Because the people who come in and say, yeah, I just want to make money from podcasting. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And then they do 20 episodes and they see $0 or $10. And it's okay, I quit because there's no money in this.
It's not why they were doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually it's like exponential. It's long term. Like the more you are in it, the higher the chance of you actually like blowing up. Because when you have a viral episode and people are like, oh, this guy is actually cool, they will end up rewatching all your episodes. So it will compound.
Okay.
But you need to stick into it. And I think that mentality that you're in it for the learning is a good way to stick to your podcast.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I do get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like what's a sustainable source of motivation?
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good word. Yeah, sustainable source of motivation. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I do have a couple areas that I'm interested in though. One of them, I'm interested in the brain. What's going on in there? Like, how do we know so much about the universe? James Webb Telescope is just telling us like the craziest amount of information about the universe. We have all these theories that talk about dimensions that we can't even prove. Like we have mathematical proofs that, technically it's there, but we can't even perceive them in any way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we look at our own mind and we have no idea how it works.
Yeah, we have a lot of blind spots there.
What is going on with that? So that's one. I'd love to talk to some like neurobiologists, neuroscientists, that kind of thing. 2, I'd love to talk to economists And 3, I want to talk to people in Amsterdam, like people who are able to the functioning of the city of Amsterdam.
Okay, so like people from the city council and
City council, politics, anything like that.
Okay.
Also, any tourist things, any historian, any top chef in Amsterdam,
Okay,
any
so everything.
bike rental, like bike rental guy, man. We're bringing him on.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I want to understand like what the fuck's going on here, because y'all are on another level. I'm not gonna say y'all, but you know us. We're on another level.
You mean in Amsterdam? You mean?
Yeah, Amsterdam. So it's just like what we were saying before. It's like the people who know, oh, exercise is good for me and will make my mental health get better, but then they don't do it, right? And then there's the other person who knows that it's good for them and does it. Amsterdam's that person. Everything that you say, oh, a society should be run like this, at least on surface level, like from my first impression, it seems like that's how it is. Like it seems, oh, they have a bike path next to the road that's as big as the road, and so people bike around.
Bro, I love the bike path. That's so good. Yeah, I also think that. And people like, it's just seamless, right? It just works.
Yeah.
In some areas. And then maybe some Dutch person is listening, nah, these guys don't know shit.
Right. No, they have the little blinkers, the little da-da-da-da-da for blind people to be able to cross the road.
Yeah, exactly.
They have,
Really
oh,
nice.
if you're Dutch, you can go to the university, 2,000 euros. That's reasonable. In the States, are you kidding me?
Oh,
2,000
man, that's
euros?
crazy. You guys are out of your mind.
Yeah.
50K for a year or something?
What is up with that?
Bro,
Yeah.
that's way too much.
No, it's like I know people who are at Harvard, Cambridge, Brown,
They will be in debt for
Stanford,
years. For years.
decades.
Decades, bro.
It's a house. It's a house.
Yeah. Like 3K, 300K?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
something like that.
200, 250. Yeah.
250.
But fuck, that's a house. That's like a nice house. You could have a great living arrangement for that. Be renting that out.
In my
You could
country, you could buy like a mansion from that. And if you go to like Bali, for that you can buy the whole city.
That's insane.
It is.
That's
it is.
crazy.
And people just spend it on a degree that quite some time doesn't worth too much. Let's be real. If you get a business degree, I'm just quoting Alex Hormozy here, and
Okay.
also from my understanding, I think you spend 6 years to get the business degree, or 5 or 4. You might be better off if you work as a sales rep. You
Right.
might learn more about sales, for example, or marketing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
if you
not
wanna
even
be-
just about the learning part, but even if you just take a steel man's argument here of just like how much money can be generated over time, I still don't think that spending that much money on a degree makes sense.
Yeah.
Like even if you make the argument, oh, I'm going to have the top law firm recruit me because I'm going to go to Harvard Law School, right? Like I still think that the amount of debt, and when you count that over the years,
just
that the
doesn't work.
average person, it doesn't work for. And then there's
Yeah.
a few success stories that it does work for.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to be like really specialized, like if you want to be in the medicine field, I think like you have to get a degree. There's no way around it. So
Right.
there are certain fields.
And good thing too. Good thing
Good
that the
thing,
doctor
for sure,
has
yeah.
to know.
I don't want to be operated on the guy who read it in the book, and then
Oh, he's almost a doctor. Oh, sure, no worries. Come on. Yeah, one time I was in the emergency room and we were 10, 12 years old or something. We were playing with these toy guns that had a circle for the barrel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so my friend jumps out from behind the corner and to shoot me, right? And I run and my eye goes into the barrel, like literally.
Fuck.
And they bring me to the emergency room. The doctor's looking at me. He goes, all right, put this drop in my eye. Look up, down, left, big ass light, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I going to be blind? I'm all dramatic in my head or whatever.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And then 2.5 hours later, they say, oh, we're going to call in the real doctor. I go, the real doctor? Oh, yeah, he's in training.
How old are you?
I was 12.
Oh, okay.
I was like, the real doctor? You've got to be kidding me. And so then the real doctor comes in and he looks at my eye and he says that if the barrel had been 1/10 of 1 millimeter to the side, that I would be blind in that eye.
Oh man, you were lucky.
Yeah, it like literally went around my iris.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a crazy story.
Lucky
but
stuff. Yeah.
got lucky. Dodged a bullet on that one.
So you want to start this month, right?
I wanna
With
start this month.
Do you have ideas about your first guests?
First guests, yeah, just what I was telling you. People in Amsterdam,
Yeah, no, I
economists.
get it, but like specific.
No, not yet. I do want to know about the technique of it. So you said that this was OBS is the name of the software?
OBS Studio, yeah, that's what we use. It's very
OBS
simple.
Studio.
Just hit record, easy.
Yeah, can you walk me through all of the hardware, the software, the editing, just like a brief version of what do you need to know in order to get started technically? Editing the video.
Oh man, I can guide you to sources for sure. And in order to start it, this is actually good also for the people who are watching and want to be showmakers. You just have to like sign up, go through the link in our bio, you get a detailed description of what you want to do. And when the academy launches, everybody comes in, people sign an agreement. So you will have to sign the agreement that, okay, I will abide by these guidelines, etc., etc.
Sure.
So, regarding the studio use. And then basically there's going to be a link. You need to get access to the studio. So we will handle that. And you just basically book the session. And then when you book it, the studio is yours. So you can come in with your guest, hit record, get done, export the file to your hard drive or send it to your email, whatever.
Okay.
And that's it, easy peasy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's it. Bye, guys. Cheers.
Yeah. Yo, man, this is fucking fun.